Next we have Padmashree Dr. M.R. Raju. He is a nuclear physicist by qualification, and he's had a change in his line of interest towards cancer awareness, research, prevention, and radiation treatment in the rural areas of India. Having had a successful research career, he soon translated his knowledge to benefit the life of the common man in rural India and elsewhere. He is a Padmashree awardee, and his contributions have been heralded as the meccas of science. We welcome you, sir, to share with us details of your admirable work.
It is indeed a pleasure to have the opportunity to present in this symposium. I request you to this is more a heart-to-heart presentation rather than intellectual type of presentation. This presentation I will use mostly with the help of it's essentially a pictorial presentation to summarize my own research experience over several decades, learning through research. Then I have gone through a full circle from a loving Indian village environment to the most advanced centers in the United States, and then back to the same environment to try to improve cancer awareness and the important role radiation plays in the cancer management. This picture, India, I think, still predominantly agricultural. Nearly 70% of the population, including women, live in rural India. The area where we are doing the work is that they are our patients mostly, the low-income agricultural women. It's, as you all know, Gandhi was always interested in public health, sanitation, and education in villages. And he has made enormous effort, more effort than even freedom fighting in those areas. But still, a lot to be done in that area. We were also brought up in pre-independence period, exciting period of great leadership of India. And I am also happy to let you know, my wife, Mrs. Subhadra Devi, founder of the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Medical Trust, participated in Quit India movement for Indian independence, led by Gandhi, and served a jail sentence. She is here in the audience. The reason I use this slide is to let you know somehow I feel that the science is moving in some fashion away from the heart, and somehow we are losing the coupling with the very people that we cannot afford to lose the coupling. That's the reason why I showed that slide. Here we are, travel in the jet planes, but still there are people at the bullock cart stage. Now the biggest challenge for the global health today is to somehow find an innovative way to couple these two without burning the gears. Now, I did my undergraduate and graduate education in Madras University and Andhra University. While I was doing the graduate studies in nuclear physics, as you know, as a young man, you always want to solve everything, especially you would like to cure cancer. I had the pleasure of reading First Peaceful Uses of Atomic Energy, came across two articles that excited me. One, neutron capture therapy, and the other is the Bragg peak therapy That means use of particles like protons and other particles for cancer treatment. So I left my nuclear physics, decided to move to that field. And fortunately for me, I received postdoctoral fellowships both from MIT, Harvard, Massachusetts General Hospital, and also from Lawrence Radiation Laboratory in Berkeley. I first chose to pick up the one from the Massachusetts General Hospital, where I had the opportunity to take any courses I am interested in, both in radiobiology, physics, both in Harvard as well as in MIT. I took it there first, and then I would like to share with you one incident that touched my heart, and that is when we were treating patient for glioblastoma using neutron capture therapy. The patient, young lady with otherwise good health, made a request to talk to all of us involved in the treatment. Before she was given anesthesia, she said, she thanked all of us, and then she said, knowing about the disease, I don't think I will make it. I hope what you learned through me will help other patients to get treated. It is ironic, 50 years afterwards, we are still at the same problem. So that is a constant reminder to me, the need to take care of people with the known knowledge of science and technology while we pursue research. It's a constant reminder to me, and it still helps me, that reminder. Now, this laboratory, of course, is really the birthplace of radiation studies, also the birthplace for using nuclear particles for cancer treatment, the field of my interest. It was headed by the biomedical part, headed by Dr. John Lawrence, the brother of late Ernesto Lawrence, and he was instrumental for me to give me the opportunity to come to and work at Lawrence Radiation Laboratory. It is an exciting scientific environment, and I cannot even say it in words how much I enjoyed being there. The picture on the right was me 50 years ago doing research using pi mesons, doing the dosimetry of pi mesons for cancer treatment. It was that work that became a reason for the people in the Los Alamos National Laboratory to invite me to join, because they were building a meson therapy, a meson facility with a meson therapy facilities. So that was really the background, and this is a picture of Nobel laureates. Vijayalakshmi Pandit, she is there in the picture, visited Berkeley, and she very much wanted to meet the Nobel laureates, and my wife arranged a lunch for them, and this is a picture of some of the Nobel laureates of the Lawrence Radiation Laboratory. This only to show you, in almost every day, we had the opportunity to interact with these scientists, and some of them are also very, very humanistic as well, very compassionate, very understanding. It was at that time, I had the pleasure of doing studies with those particles, and then the particle therapy had borrowed the wonderful ideas of physicists working together globally, even during the time of Cold War. For example, the Russian scientists and the American scientists were able to work together. And the particle therapy facilities also developed the same idea, and then I had the pleasure of participating in the US, USSR, US, UK, US, Japan cooperative meetings. So I really, just to say it briefly, I was very fortunate, had a wonderful time doing research, and then I somehow thought that we need to do something with what we have learned. So myself and my wife decided to come back to India. Could I go back to one more picture, please? Could I go back? Yeah. Now, this is the top part of what I was done. I had the pleasure of writing the first book on particle therapy, including protons, published in 1980 by the academic press. And then before I left, I was invited to write 2 reviews in the field of protons and particles. And then I decided to complete all that. And then now I switched the gears, and then I went around the circle. Now again I came back. Now my audience now are the women in villages, and mostly girls in the girls' high schools, studying in the high schools, government high schools. I'm using the word government high schools because that's where the lower strata of society studies. Now, next slide, please. We first concentrated on cancer awareness. And then it so happened that fortunately we came across some of these 3 cases, like early stage cervical cancer. This is about 20 years ago. Now we felt that they should be given treatment. We did not have a center to treat these patients at the time, so we arranged for them to get treated. And also at the same time, I was surprised to receive enormous support from some of the scientists in India, and they gave me a project to do cancer surveillance in rural areas and to do brachytherapy with radiation 20 years ago. And because of that, we did brachytherapy to the lady, for example, to the left, extreme left. And then the same lady, we asked her to lay the foundation for the cancer center that was built several years later. Next slide, please. Now, that's the manual afterloading brachytherapy supported by the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Next slide, please. Now, this is an unusual incident. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when he was the Director General of Defense Research and Development Organization, to our surprise, in '96 decided on his own to come to our center, essentially saying that he decided to be on Mahatma Gandhi's birthday at Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Medical Trust. India is an unusual country where you have such great people, like everywhere else in the world, willing to go completely out of their way when they see something interesting going on. And he told me very simply that he considered the laboratories I worked as meccas of science, and he believed that the scientists should be involved in social action. And he said that he came all the way just to assure me that this is important. So I was very fortunate to have that type of encouragement. Next slide, please. Now, at that time when he came, we were building this school for the little girls in that village, attending the government primary schools. My wife decided to make sure that these girls would go to higher studies, and she decided to give fellowships to these girls so that they would not discontinue their studies. One reason why we did that is it's very strange that people in rural areas, they prefer to send their girls to government schools that are free, but boys to the expensive schools. It's very strange. So we decided we somehow do something to correct the situation. This is our small way of doing it. Next slide. Then with the books we have, I have written in local language, conducted cancer screening program 20 years ago in the villages. Now, another interesting thing happened is that what they call district cancer control program, which is normally done by the government, but already people in the government recognize government means not well done. So they decided to ask me to take that program with the district collector as the chairman, with me as the honorary secretary. And with that program, we could reach to train the government, public health workers, doctors. Next slide also shows. Next slide, please. We conducted many camps. Next slide, please. District collector, and at the time of training, the government doctors. This was nearly 20 years ago I'm talking about. Next slide, please. Now, I'm very happy to report that some of the students from the Harvard University came to give us a hand in holidays, and they participated in this program. That was really very, very effective. They enjoyed doing it, but we had problems because it's not easy to live in rural India. So to take care of them free from the problem itself is quite a challenge. Fortunately, we could do that, and they were a source of inspiration for our people, and they also enjoyed themselves. We had several years of them. Next slide. Then we found out how long can you keep on preaching unless you help them by treating them. The awareness programs cannot be effective. So we decided to build a cancer center, but it's unusual. How can you build a cancer center? Anyway, my wife decided, okay, let's build it, and whatever resources we have, let us use them to build it. But it's interesting, had I thought at that time what it takes to treat a cancer patient, how much it would cost, what equipment you need, we would not have done it. But we went ahead and did the building anyway. Next slide. The natural scenery inside, it's a 5-acre natural place, lilies in the pond. That was the structure that we built. Fortunately, by the time the structure was built, the then chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, Dr. Anil Kakodka, went out of his way to provide us some of the needed equipment. To me, it was a miracle. A CT unit to do the treatment planning. We wanted to make sure to provide a good quality treatment in a rural setting. High-dose rate brachytherapy using a cobalt source. That was the first unit that we bought in India because short-lived isotopes are not practical in a rural setting. Dr. Shanta and Dr. Krishnamurthy helped us to provide the telemedicine connectivity as well. Now, when Dr. Kalam came as the president to inaugurate the cancer center, we considered the little children in the primary school are our VIPs, and the cancer patients and the families are also VIPs. So he arranged to bring specially wrapped gifts from the Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is a picture when Dr. Badwe, the director of Tata Memorial, and Dr. Kakodkar came. One of the patients, a professor of English literature, decided to get treated in our center for breast cancer. Next slide. The succeeding chairman, when he came, he made the expression that he considered our effort is taking atomic science to grassroots level. And Dr. Kakodkar also felt that way. He also made the remark that it's more like a pilgrimage for him rather than a visit. We try to train the medical physicists with a rural orientation. These are the patients and families assembled for Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. Now I have a note here, a friendly note to finish it up. If I can have just 5 minutes. Thank you. Now, this is the list of patients that we have treated. What I would like to bring it to your attention, India is a very difficult country to understand. The only reason I understand a little bit better than some of you, I dare say, is because, first of all, I was brought up happily there, and also I have seen the rest of the world. Then I came back, I'm able to see it. One point I want you to pay attention to, look at the women. Cervical cancer is still not at all getting reduced. It is still very high. Look at the number. Nearly 40 to 50% of all cancers of women are cervical cancer. Look at the endometrial cancer. Fortunately, those numbers are much smaller. Look at the ovarian cancer, almost none. Only 2 out of 400. So what I'm saying is the real numbers in the rural areas, I'm not saying it is a representation of entire rural India, but it is for that region. It is indeed true. Now, this is the age distribution of cervix and breast. Unfortunately, it hits younger women in India more than in the Western world. These women have young children. So to take care of them is much more than taking care of a patient. You are essentially taking care of the family. If something happens to her because of this problem, the family is lost. Now, these are some wonderful things the patient said. Now, the women are really, to me, I respect them. To me, they are all goddesses for a very simple reason. They are willing to sacrifice anything for the well-being of their family, including selling their gold. But when it comes to their own disease, like cervical cancer, they would keep it to themselves, and most of them die at home, and they don't get into cancer statistics. Also, they are very practical. They do not want to be a burden to the family unless the center is very nearby, accessible, and affordable. And this is the reason why 2/3 of the patients that we have treated are women. And we are very happy about what they say about their treatment. So we decided the best way to